So recently, IDYLL happened
You know what's crazy?
Ideal, and there was a very crucial game decided by Kraken Cheese right here. And everyone's been talking about Kraken Cheese because we've been seeing a lot more of this. Starburst recently got a tournament win with Ant, who played 96. Nolan obviously played very well with Moonlight, who got some notable results. And basically, people are starting to bring up that Clam Blitz is actually kind of broken with Kraken Cheese, and Kraken Cheese seems way too good on it. And obviously, it's happened at previous times, but, you know, it's a notable thing, and Madness, of course, has this post I forgot to bring up here of Kraken single-handedly ruined Clam Blitz. Stop saying it's the best mode in the game. And, of course, we have discussion about it, including, I think it's very funny that low levels complaining about Kraken clam jumps and lowing back when it came out, and it's only hitting mainstream now. Which is true. So why is that? Why is Kraken Cheese popular now? Because if you think about it, Kraken Cheese should be more popular at the beginning, back when you could carry clams with your Kraken. But actually, Kraken Cheese is better now than it's ever been before. The real answer as to why it's happening at top level now, and not before, well, half the reason is 96 is just better right now. 96 Gal started out as a weapon that didn't actually work in the meta. It was made to counter, like, it was made as a technical option to double splash, but they would just crab in different spots, and it wouldn't actually work. It'd be okay, but it wasn't as good. And then Cooler came out, Kraken got nerfed, people got turned off by it, but eventually Gal became a staple for a few things. One, it has very good paint, like, at a distance. It's still, like, a very selfish painter, but it can, like, move itself in pretty easily with this. But two is Wall. Wall plus the mid-range two-shot gave it a lot of good matchups. Most notably, right now, it has two incredibly important matchups in this meta, being a good matchup into Splatana Stamper and Snipe Rider. Both of these weapons do terrible damage to Wall and have a hard time with Gal. And so Gal is a very good thing to pick when a lot of people are running Stamper and Pencil at top level. And obviously there's other reasons, but Gal has a lot of favorable matchups. Cooler allows you to actually get your Kraken more often and be more aggressive. It helps with the weapon's jump RNG, etc, etc. Alright, back to Kraken Cheese. So people are playing Gal. Why is Kraken Cheese better? Let's compare this to Baller real quick in Splatoon 2. I'm not going to pull a Baller because that means I have to boot up Splatoon 2, and I don't feel like doing that, honestly. Baller was about 6 seconds. It moves slowly. You could bump it back. You could blow it up before it got to the basket. Baller Cheese wasn't that good. Kraken, on the other hand, obviously is way better in a lot of ways. It has a fast movement speed, a mode that is immune to knockback, a one-shot if people try to fuck around and find out. And, you know, on top of that, it's invincible. You can't kill it. So Kraken can give jumps reliably. Oh, and on top of that, Kraken can jump around and eat bombs if people do try to frame you with it. However, the reason Kraken Cheese is good now, when it wasn't good when it came out, is not because of Kraken, but it's because of Cooler. Cooler removes 90% of the risks involved with Kraken Cheese. Obviously, you still have to make 2 to 3 footballs and not die before you jump and stuff, but Cooler makes that so much easier. With Cooler, you can run around everywhere. You can instant super jump out with QSJ. You can just, boom, just like that. You can instant jump in to score the power climb faster. And not only that, once you score, you have full quick respawn, you regroup immediately, and you have full special saver. So if you have a team with, like, say you have Kraken, Zuka, and Cooler. You Kraken in, you pop Cooler, you get your 3 jumps, and then when you respawn, not only are you respawning fast, but the guy who had Zuka still has Zuka. Even if you get wiped, you go on defense, and then all of a sudden you're still okay, because instead of being punished and not having any of your specials, you actually have your special already, and you can get to your basket first. And that brings up one final point that's important, which is Clam Blitz maps. The map lists that have changed over time for what maps we are playing in competitive for Clam Blitz. Let me name some of the map modes that are common in Clam Blitz right now. Scorch Gorge, Museum de Alfonsino, Barnacle and Dime, though not as much recently, Crableg Capital, and then we saw Ship Shape being played at one point. All of these maps have a huge amount of distance between the basket and mid, or between the baskets. They are large maps. You know, Scorch has a large horizontal distance, Museum is big, like Crab Leg is huge, Ship Shape is huge, Barnacle is huge. All these maps are big. The bigger the distance is between the baskets, the more fight wins you need to push. Like in Mako, if you win one team fight, you could probably score on Clan Blitz, because the baskets aren't far. But on Ship Shape, winning one team fight gets you mid. Then you have to win a team fight and get to basket. And that's not counting if they regroup fast from cooler or anything else that could go wrong. Usually you'll need even more. Because of that, there's a lot of Clan Blitz maps that we play in tournaments that are really difficult to score on. And because of that, you're going to have situations where teams are just holding mid but aren't able to push, and so are accumulating a lot of power clams. And that's where Kraken Cheese thrives. If you're sitting in ship-shape mid, for example, like we saw in Ideal, and you can't push for whatever reason, then at least you can still get the clam spawns in the middle of the map. You can wait a bit and then have your guy Kraken in and score. And again, look how far the baskets are. Let me try to swim from one to the other. I'm gonna have to paint my way there, but I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna paint, move. I left it like, what, 53 seconds? 54 by the time I arrived. So like, what, 7, 8 seconds? Maybe less to get here? You know, that's assuming you're not encountering any enemy players. That's assuming the terrain is favorable, that you're a fast weapon. By the time you get here, the enemy team is respawned. They're already here. You're too slow. They had cooler, they come back, and they're already in this area. And they're already holding. Basically, what happened with Kraken Cheese is the way to punish it was always... Like, the reason Kraken Cheese was bad was never that this wasn't good. You could always jump over here and score. The problem is, you would get full wiped after, have no specials, the enemy team would push up, then they would easily win their team fight because they painted everything, so they have all their specials. You died, you don't have any of yours, you don't have any time, and then you get rolled again, and then they push with more clams and more security to hold the push because they're not going to die. But that's just not the case anymore, and it's because of cooler. Kraken is not the big part of the problem. Cooler is the reason Kraken Cheese is good. So yes, at the start of the game it was a completely different thing. Because there was no cooler. People ran crabs. This special is what made Kraken Cheese way easier to get away with. So that's why people are running it now, more than ever. So it's the maps, it's cooler, it's Kraken being better than Baller, it's all of it. It's always a multifaceted issue. Now I've seen a lot of people say that we should just nerf Kraken or whatever. Here's the problem. There. You want to change? Get rid of the ball. You can't super jump with it. That's it. As a final note, even if this strategy isn't super broken, and honestly it's not, you still don't have to run it, there's still counterplay to it. Even if it's not super broken though, even if the strategy was worse, it probably shouldn't be a thing. It devolves matches, it's way too easy for the amount of value you get, and most importantly, it ruins a lot of solo games. You know you've had that one Inkbrush teammate who does nothing but try to sneak through the left side and get shot and die 10 times because they're trying to get one power clam jump that won't do anything. It's just a bad idea in general. It's not good for the game. A strategy does not have to be broken for it to not need to exist. And in this case, the power level of this strategy, even if it's not broken, has gotten far too good. So that's the problem. And yeah, for a final comparison, there's the BRB screen for a second. Again, this is a comparison I typed up. This doesn't include everything like the maps or being able to block the bombs with your Kraken body. But Kraken Cheese is not comparable. You can't just say we figured it out in Splatoon 2, it's the same thing, because it's not. It's not the same thing. Splatoon 2 Kraken Cheese was an unevolved version of the shit we have to deal with today. It is the most watered-down version of what we have now that there ever was. And that's why it's good now and not then. Also, Baller sucked and Kraken's like a competent special, even if it's not amazing. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Hopefully they fix it. They probably won't because it's been 6 years, but hey, maybe someone will do it at Worlds and then they might, maybe we need to change it. But yeah, that's the debate. That's my thoughts. I think the strategy's too good. I don't think it's broken. I think comparing it to Splatoon 2 doesn't make any sense, because Splatoon 2, that strat was so much worse, it's not even funny. And Cooler is the main problem, not Kraken. Well, both are a problem, but Cooler is what lets it work. It didn't work without Cooler.